One Finger Death Punch is not exactly the sort of game I would normally play, and in fact the only reason I played it at all was somebody gifted it to me for Christmas. But I'm glad they did, because this game is absolutely brilliant. This game is simplicity itself. It's a tried and tested formula. You are a martial arts expert and you are going to fight hordes of other people. You're going to punch them, kick them, stomp them, stab them with swords, shoot them with bows, and just generally wreak death and mayhem non-stop. It's so simple, you only need two controls, the left and the right mouse button. The right mouse button attacks to the right, and the left mouse button, guess what, attacks to the left. The only requirement to finish the attack is that you have an opponent close enough to attack. It really is that simple, and yet it is so enjoyable. It is so entertaining. I just could not stop playing. I can tell you now, when I started playing this game, I was in a foul mood. I'd had a pretty bad day and I was streaming it live. You can even go and see the live stream if you want. I'll leave a link down below. I was in a terrible mood and I started playing this game and I just got better and better after a few minutes, and all the woes of my day were forgotten. I was just loving this game. And I know many of you are probably thinking, so it's a button masher. No, it is not a button masher. You cannot just keep pressing buttons as fast as possible. You will die. You will lose. The game even tells you this right at the start. If you mash buttons, you are going to lose, and it is true. You need to time your attacks. You need to press them at the right time. If you don't, it classifies as a miss, which drops your score, but more importantly, leaves you open to an attack. So you need to get those attacks right. You need to get them at the right time. But you can't wait too long because you will get punched or kicked. And you have to keep looking both sides. You can't focus on one direction and let a guy sneak up behind you. I say sneak up, run up behind you screaming and kick you. But what this simple set of mechanics means is you can pick the game up extremely quickly. You can start playing and feel really good. You can feel like this badass pretty much straight away, but you have to keep paying attention because the game starts progressing and making life a little more difficult for you. It starts sending green enemies who require more hits, or blue enemies who dodge your first attack and spring behind you. So you have to do two attacks, one in the original direction and then one quickly in the other. And then there are other types of enemies, some that will change direction twice, some that require you to hit them twice and then after they dodge behind you, counterattack in that direction. It gets more and more complicated. Sometimes you'll get enemies that require a series of different attacks. You go into an almost mini boss fight midway through the stream, and you've got to get it right. If you press the wrong button, you will get hit. You can only get hit a certain number of times before you're out. And just to make things even more interesting, the game speeds up. The better you're doing, the faster the game throws enemies at you, and the faster you have to react. And believe it or not, there's actually quite a lot of variety in this game. For such a simple idea, they've managed to vary the fights quite a lot. You have this map, and you progress along the map, space by space, fight by fight, doing different types of combat. Sometimes it's hordes of enemies, sometimes it's a single boss, sometimes it's a nunchuck fight, sometimes you have to knock daggers out of the air with your swords. There are timed runs, and there's even a level where you get a lightsaber. Yes, a lightsaber. There is even a level where it's kind of a retro film look. So the whole thing's monochrome and you can't see the colours of your enemies, which makes it a lot more difficult because it's a lot harder to figure out which combinations are going to take them down. You have to really pay attention. The game even has skills. You unlock skills as you go along. I've only unlocked 4 or 5 of them, but you get like longer duration with the sword when you pick the sword up, or perhaps you can have 3 arrows in your bow when you pick a bow up, but you can only ever have 3 skills chosen, so you have to decide which skill set you want to run with. And those are the ones I've found so far. I've barely scratched the game really. I've played half the first map, which is easy difficulty. I've not unlocked the higher difficulties yet, so God knows what I'm going to find when I do. But in all honesty, it's not the variety that got my attention, because honestly, I was loving this game from the first couple of minutes play. What made this game for me was how bloody good it feels to play it. The combat just works. The impact as you hit people, it really does work, which is insane because it's stick figures. It is stick figures. You're fighting with stick men, and yet for some reason it feels more brutal, more visceral than any of the fighting games I've played before. I don't know why, but I just feel like I am knocking the man's heart out with my fist. You see these great scenes where you hit someone and you get an X-ray of their skeleton. Yes, it's a stick man, but there's a skeleton inside there. You see this. You get these time slowdowns and these power attacks, and they just feel like they've got so much impact, which is incredible for a game with stickmen. I know I probably sound like a raving lunatic, but you should try this game. If you like combat games, you should give this one a try. I'm telling you, you're going to be very surprised how it feels, how it plays. You're going to be surprised. I think, in my opinion, you're going to be surprised at how much you enjoy this game. It's really cheap right now. I don't know how much it is in dollars or euros, but it's I think it was 70 krona when I last looked at it. It's a steal. This game is so much fun and it's so well done. There are a couple of niggles that I have with it. I mean, you can't change the volume of the music, because my first instinct usually is to change the volume of the music so it's lower than the other sounds. But in this game, I didn't actually mind in the end because the music is epic. It just has it's very corny, cheesy, epic music, but it works for this game. The announcer is a little stereotypical, but it kind of fits the genre. It fits this idea of it being some B-movie martial arts film. Everything about it works. I can't explain it any better than that. The game just works. It is a lot of fun to play, and I'm going to keep playing it. If you like the martial art fight type games, you really should give this one a try. You really should. I think it'll surprise you. If you don't like that sort of game normally, you might want to give it a try anyway, because it caught me by surprise. I really cannot recommend this game enough. It is absolutely superb.
Silver medal awarded.